I wanted to improve as fast as I could, but just drawing and creating as much as I can is good enough. I didn't know what I was doing, and there wasn't a structured approach. I went to school for visual effects, and then a game art course, taking bits of knowledge, learning about design. The creative field I was in was mostly 3D, and I felt a lot of my skills in 3D was transferable. That is, if I knew what I was doing in the first place. At that point of time, I had really high expectations for myself, and I didn't know exactly what I wanted. So I was just learning everything I can. Taking these courses taught me the same fundamentals over and over, and I still didn't know how to use this information. It felt like everything I learned was scattered everywhere. I was stuck, I wasn't practicing anything, and I remember the frustration of drawing and hating them because it didn't turn out how I expected it. So I decided to narrow my focus. I told myself that I was getting these bad paintings out of my system, but something good did come out of that. It was knowing what doesn't work. All my failed attempts taught me what I struggled with. I was rushing, going too fast, and trying to improve everything at once. I slowly picked up the pieces and focused on aspects I was really bad at. Very specifically what I wanted to improve. It was faces. Having that in mind, I started looking for tutorials that specifically aimed at what I wanted to improve. This made me establish what I wanted to learn one at a time. And this was how I built my progress. Starting out, I had a lot of uncertainty, but after being consistent, I was able to piece most of the things together. During this time, I was learning to slow down, and that was what pushed my improvement. To learn the fundamentals and deepen my understanding, I took a 1-year course doing illustration and concept art. This was recent. I graduated about 4 months ago. The first 3 months, I was being taught the same fundamentals that was being repeated constantly during my other courses. The difference was, this time, I was focused on one fundamental at a time. It's like starting from scratch. This time, organizing my thoughts and things that I learned. So I created this SkillTree to better visualize my improvement. This approach of improvement isn't new. It's the concept of gamifying your progress, and I feel that it has a simple concept of motivation with so much meaning in it. It's as simple as focusing on a specific skill or fundamentals and making it fun. So I'll share 3 methods I use when I try to improve. These 3 methods are just being cycled through over and over again, trying to improve with every project I do. Study photos and artists with intent. Whenever I do studies, I do it with the intent to learn something specific. As an example, I'm trying to do one-on-one copy of this photo. Doing this with the intent to push my level of accuracy in my observation. Even the tiniest angle changes has to be as accurate as I can get it. In addition, using rendering techniques to get the impression of textures. So adding that to the skill tree, the main thing I was trying to focus on, my level of observation, color, and some brush techniques. Just a handful, otherwise I'll be spreading myself too thin. Other examples are recognizing perspective in a photo or doing master studies. I ask myself, what do I intend to learn from this painting? Is it the way they paint an impression of the subject? Maybe how they simplify light and shadows. Sometimes just observing. You don't even have to pick up a pen to draw. Breaking down the process and taking mental notes helps too. And similar to studying other artists, in this case, I wanted to break down the light, color, and rendering for a dreamy style. I feel like these studies I do gets more meaningful the better my observation skill gets. So how do I get better and advance these fundamentals? Practice. This is where I stack mileage, with the fundamentals as the core. This point of my learning phase, I was always trying to experiment and breaking things down. Practicing each topic, exercises that cover them. Some examples directly aimed at perspective, anatomy, figure drawings, construction, designs, and slowly growing my understanding. When things start to click, I slowly found my process or a workflow of what to focus on first. So carefully trying to get an accurate sketch to determine the composition, perspective, followed by the anatomy and proportions, then lastly, colors and rendering. Sticking to this workflow was really important to me because it determines how skillful I can execute the use of fundamentals in all my illustrations. Now, this is where my understanding of fundamentals start building up. The more I understand these fundamentals, the more subtopic they have. It was hard to apply everything into my illustrations. Carefully trying to perfect each fundamentals and implement new subtopics was challenging. So I gave myself this small goal. When I practice applying each of the fundamentals, I will make sure to push one fundamental. An example, on every new piece I did, I'll push either composition, color, light, faces or the brushwork. Yes, some of my pieces is gonna land well and others not so much. And that's okay, because that's just the process of growth. With each new work I created, it made it easier to apply what I understood and push through to new knowledge on the topics. But what if I'm stuck, not knowing what to push or what to improve on? So this is where I ask for feedback. Most of the time, others have different ways of approaching the same topic and things I wouldn't have realized on my own. A fresh pair of eyes really helped. When I was still an art student, I had to learn how to take critique without taking it personally. I feel that others' feedback is part of the process. I firmly believe that others' feedback is part of the process of improvement. At the same time, giving feedback, it teaches me how to see other artworks objectively and break down to learn their process. Of course, I only give feedback when someone asks. This pushes me to articulate my thoughts and help me understand my work better too. Being in an environment with like-minded artists makes a huge difference. It promotes sharing of our knowledge and friendly competition. This was what gave me the motivation to always put in 100% effort. And I'll say that this was one of the main things that really pushed me. Even today, I still try to keep that mindset when engaging with artists online or offline. And there was 3 methods I still use today in my never-ending journey to become a better artist. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I hope sharing how I approach growth helps spark something for your own journey too. If you've enjoyed this and want to see more as I keep learning, subscribing and a thumbs up would really mean a lot. It also helps me keep making videos like this.